let's start recording. This is not going to be exciting. If you are signing into this being like, oh boy, Alex doing something interesting. Well, I've tricked you. You've been bamboozled. It was a lie. I'm not doing anything interesting. Oh, here's me canceling my ESO account. No, it's not it. It's a good game. It's a good game. It's fun. Endgame is pretty, canceling my subscription, not my account. Endgame's pretty boring. I mean, like, it's vibing. Endgame is just vibing, like getting new stuff and just looking neat and cool and like, I don't know. It's pretty boring. It's not relaxing for me to play games. And end statement, it's not relaxing for me to play games, but specifically without like some sense of accomplishment or goal or mission. I guess I'm a competitive person in my bones. So what are we doing? This is this and this probably giving away what I'm working on today. We're talking about elections, baby. We're talking about democracy. We're talking about American democracy. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting? But Alex, you say there are already election mechanics in game. Aren't they good enough? And the election mechanics in game, even though they correspond with the presidential election cycle, oddly enough, they are about the upper house, not the presidency. So they represent Congress, or the House of Representatives and the Senate. There's no mechanics to model the Supreme Court. Just something I could do, but yeah, I'm not strongly feeling it. So earlier today, this morning, when I was what was I doing? I worked out. Okay. Woke up, had breakfast while watching YouTube. Yeah. Went for a run. Yeah. Showered. Yeah. Came over to the computer. Still had time before I needed to start cooking. Yeah. So I guess I did this at like 9 in the morning today. 8, 9 in the... Yeah, 9-ish in the morning. in the morning. I went through, and any presidential candidate who received at least 2% of the popular vote has been added on here. Why 2%, not 1%? I don't have a good reason. It was arbitrary. Because I think 2% is what Debs got. Eugene Debs got the first time he ran for president. I'm like, that's our bottom line, because I want to be able to have Debs in as soon as possible. But you know, let's think about it. Presidential election 1836. We can do 1%. Why not? So normally I have one of these up in my left monitor, one up in my right monitor, but because I'm streaming for the viewer's benefit, we'll do this. We'll do this. And this way I can actually see. Shift shit on my left monitor. So maybe I'm off to a good start. Maybe 1%. So we already have the party of all these people and their name. And for the event description, I'm gonna have... Oh god. I'm going to have to make an event for each and every one of these elections. They're going to be pretty much cookie cutters, so that won't be the hard part. The longest part of doing this is going to be the event descriptions. But Alex, I thought you were going year by year and adding events. This is part of this. Because I want to do this, I want to at least do 1836 through 1860 presidential election to see if that fucks with the American Civil War. It should, a little bit. It should, one way or another, fuck with it. I'm okay with how the American Civil War is working right now. One issue that I've had is socialism gets too popular too quickly. Is it, you know, Marxist? I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Makes sense because of the the conditions that these people are under. But it's a historical. So this is an attempt to kind of rein that in. So every time, this is the model I'm looking at right now. Every time a presidential election were to happen, every year, right? I'm gonna have this with a mean time to happen of like 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. I can't set it to only happen on November or December, whatever, because all the events are mean time to happen. Depending on which candidate you choose, the event will be like presidential election of year, brief description, historical winner, and then you get to choose which candidate wins. And whichever candidate you choose, here's the effect I'm thinking of. Minimally plus party loyalty for that party across the whole nation. Now, you already get party loyalty whenever a party wins an election for the upper house. Every time they win an election for the upper house, they gain a percentage, they gain party loyalty equal to some math. Basically, the more they win by, the more people like them, which is... It's an interesting model. It leads to frustrating things like, I never get the Whigs ever to take over the upper house, when there is a time in here when the Whigs are very much contenders for the presidency, because Van Buren does such a bad job. And like the Whigs could, they had a shot in 1836. So I want to play with that a little bit. And I'm thinking, in addition to the party loyalty, I think, like, something as small as 1% would be meaningful here. I'm tempted to do something as high as, like, 10%, but that might be a bit much. So let's, okay. I'm like, what was I looking at last? Final Explorer. Is this gonna be terms of service? It's fine. Fortunately, it's fine. Common, what about events? Oh god, I haven't updated the mod in a while. That's okay. So ACW, loyalty, party. Oh, right. We're on the wrong one. So I tweet the House Divided to fire when 30% of the upper house are liberal, rather than 35%, which HPM does, or 40% as it is in vanilla. Reason for this is socialism has been so fucking popular that by 1860, the liberals won't get 40%. if you are in elections choosing, like I do, to try to make people shift towards socialist, oh, it'll work very well. I could do like some or thing in here, but basically we're gonna try and make this condition easier to do. Yeah. And how are we doing that? We don't want ACW. Do I want decisions? Is it decisions? No, it's it should be an ACW, right? Liberal. Find me all the liberals in here. John Brown's raid. Yeah, okay. So this is where we're looking for precedent. Like, John Brown's raid is a 10% bonus to liberal ideology. You know what? Find all in current document. Cool. Hate this. This is all setup events. What is this? Frederick Douglass, 5%. 5% for Frederick Douglass. I think 10%. John Brown's raid was a galvanizing moment in anti-slavery and pro-slavery sentiment in the United States. Right. Making it pretty clear that, like, oh, there's a strong will on the abolitionist side to resolve this with violence. And sooner rather than later. It is somewhat arbitrary what percentage we do here. It is somewhat arbitrary. Like, a single presidency isn't gonna, like, flip. God, there's probably studies into this. I'm not a fucking poli-sci major. I make fun of poli-sci majors. I have friends who are poli-sci majors, which is why I make fun of them. There's probably some good science in when the likelihood of re-electing the sitting party just because they're already in power. They're like good enough, or keep things the same kind of sentiment. That's not the word I wanted. There's a specific word for this. So I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know. I didn't realize John Brown was 10 or 0.1. I thought it was less than this. So okay, what? Oh, this is in the trigger. This is not in the option. Yeah. So what this does is it makes reactionary 5% more popular. Okay, but we can just do 5%. Because it looks like, just like with the Dred Scott decision, factor 0.5, liberal factor 0.05. We'll do 5%. 5% sounds fine to me. 0.05. And then issue favor. Just because a president gets into power does not mean that the platform that they ran on becomes more popular. It means that it comes to a head. So maybe I just ignore that. Well, then how the fuck do I differentiate between William Henry Harrison, Hugh White, and Daniel Webster, for example? Yeah. Wait a minute. You didn't get at least 1%? Oh, you were the nullifier party, yeah. North Carolina must have had... B? B? That's not... This looks like it's a hyperlinked B, but it's not B. Okay. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Oop. Yeah, Magnum got 3% of the electoral vote in North Carolina. But wait. What? I'm trying to decide if Magnum should be included here or not. It's fine. It's fine. So, because if it's just party loyalty and it's not the issues that they ran on, that gets a boost. Because I want this to be a place where the player can be like, ooh, I want to nudge things in a certain direction and have agency to do so, right? But status quo is exactly what I was thinking of earlier. Thank you. God, that's embarrassing. Yeah, no, status quo just escaped me. Wait, like, Abraham Lincoln did not run on abolitionism. He kind of did, but he ran more so on keeping the Union together. But him being elected did not make 1% or 5% or 10% of the American population more in favor of his reforms. What it did was piss off the half that didn't agree and made them secede. So maybe we leave out the issue thing. Yeah, I mean, that's overcomplicating it. Maybe. So an issue we run into with like all these Whigs, or when I have a free soil candidate and a Whig candidate running at the same time, the game does not differentiate between different parties if they're both liberal. Your party loyalty is conservative, liberal, socialist, fascist, reactionary, anarcho-liberal, communist. Is that all of them? It's those labels, not the actual party, which is weird and not how it worked. Most Whigs did not excitedly become Republicans. A lot of them did, but a lot of them also became Democrats, or even Southern Democrats. And like, what's the point of having multiple candidates? Like Martin Van Buren in the Free Soil Party, or Zachary Taylor running as a Whig. How do... Maybe like a very small bonus to a certain ideology. Like a 1% boost to whatever their platform was, and maybe like 0.5% to the opposition. I don't know. I want to make this more meaningful than it's an event to boost party loyalty, which is fine. Huh. I could have it like their home state gains consciousness or loses militancy. Losing militancy might make sense. Or even losing consciousness, honestly. But that's kind of more work than I want to put in. It could be losing militancy of pops with that ideology, I like that. I like that. Minus militancy for party? Question mark, but that still doesn't differentiate between the Whigs. I could say for party in home state. So really get specific here. Yeah, no worries. So what I'm doing is I'm adding in events for presidential elections. Basically, every time a presidential election would happen, you're given a choice between the presidential candidates that ran in that election, and you choose one in this event, and you get the event has an effect, right? So far, I'm very sure that part of the effect is your party, or the president's party, becomes more popular. That makes sense. I'm trying to figure out what the hell else to do. Because there were times where we had 4 people running in the same party against each other as candidates. And having all of those options be interchangeable feels a little boring, so I want to add a little something, a little spice to add some distinction between them. In home state, man, I wish there was a way to like add prestige per home state. Yeah, but the US already gets a lot of prestige. I was thinking I could create a state modifier for their home state that, or you know what, that's a good idea. State modifier for home state of minus mil minus consciousness. Does this work? This is such a weird mechanic. Okay, consciousness is your population's desire to fulfill self-interest. No. It's not gonna touch consciousness. For 4 years. So it's a modifier that's gonna stay in the state for 4 years, which is a fucking long time in Victoria too. Modifiers do not last that long. You don't happen to have... No, you don't. Okay, that's fine. I do. I have what I'm looking for. Triggered modifiers. It's closer to what I want. No. Event modifiers. Yeah, okay. See, here's a lot of... events that are, yeah, American Civil War ones, like immigrant attractiveness, nah. RGO throughput, no, they're not gonna work harder. It's not gonna attract more people to their home state. Ooh, you know the president of the country's from there, says no one immigrating to another country. You that's not a big selling point. I don't know. Let's scroll through these and see if anything stands out. Bad boy. No. Literacy? Nah. Ruling party support. Hmm. Yeah, we'll double dip on that. So why this is interesting is if you're trying to get a specific state to flip liberal or conservative or whatever, this is a great way to do it. And maybe we could do away with the party loyalty overall. Like, the overall party loyalty is nice. I'm worried 5% is too high. I'm honestly worried that 5% will be too high. Because let's say, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You can stack on. But it's good that it's that strong. It's good that it's that strong. Yeah, I like that. Let's copy this. Plus, I don't know, what values are in here for ruling party support? Bam, find in current document. 0.2, 0.1. 0.1 is look at this. What asshole coded this? Yes, 0.50. Get that out of here. Is this a typo? I think this is a typo. They probably meant 0.05. No, they meant 0.5. Okay, well, I'm getting rid of that 0, because that's unnecessary. The game just ignores that anyway. I'm doing that. Save that one bit of processing. Let's do 0.1, 0.1. Nice and small. Nice and small modifier. Again, it'll last a long time. 4 years. So whenever yeah, it's small. Maybe. Okay, let's go through and see the scope. Government propaganda. Propaganda in a state would get 0.2. Okay, cool. Totalitarian system, yeah, we'd give it 2. Yeah, okay, that kind of checks out. Cult of personality, we'd give it 2. Back down on promise, -1. Peacetime, that does not interest me. Rivera reforms, I don't know what that is. Don't know. There's a lot of these I don't recognize. Serial killer, -0.1. Yeah, okay, people would be understandably upset. A lot of these are negative. Otto von Bismarck, 0.5. Okay, so Bismarck had a big personality, right? A big personality, and he gets a 0.5. Napoleon III, also big personality, gets a 1. So maybe 0.2. Yeah, like a ruling party scandal gives a -0.2. Yeah, let's make it a 0.2. Because that's enough that if a scandal happens, it's enough to ignore the scandal. Sure, there we go. Militancy, though. Let's think about that. Militancy. Core pop. Wow, okay, that's very specific. Pop militancy modifier or core pop militancy modifier. That is a great distinction. Global pop. Now, these seem like overall modifiers, not That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do at all. I wanted to open the folder that this is part of, but I already have this, so... common? I'm looking at event modifiers, not triggered modifiers. Traits, not national values, not national focus, not issues. It seems fine. Let's see, where... Wait a minute, stock market crash isn't what I want. That's what I want. Find me this. It is event modifiers. Okay. No, I was looking at the right thing. Okay, let's look at militancy and try and figure out what an appropriate value would be here. 0.04 for... I searched in all files. Current document. Thank you. 0.02 for severe homeland drought. 0.1 for homeland drought. If it's been a good year, you lose 0.01. Kind of bad boy. Bad boy. I love it. Okay, freedom of religion gives minus 1%. Okay, so it's looking like minus 1% is about what we're looking at here. A lot of these are like 5% though. So maybe it should be like minus 5%. Colonial mismanagement. Yeah, okay, this is probably the closest I'm gonna find. This is the Gurkha event? The Royal Askaris event? I think this is a close parallel. Do we also give prestige? I don't know, man. Like, I'm tempted. I'm very tempted. It'd be... The United States would get very prestigious very fast, though. And they already get very prestigious very fast, so... No, I think not. Wow, it's already 3, Jesus. How long do I have to work on this? I have another 2 hours to work on this today, and then... I gotta get up on out of here. I'm thinking like minus 5%. What's this? Female suffrage gives minus 2%. Okay, so like, you can vote. It's cool. Sorry, yes, 2%, not May Day. Jesus Christ, May Day gives minus 20%. That's huge. Huge and fast. In fact. Words are hard. Homestead Act gives 5%. Local stock exchange. Boxer presence, no. Holy City. That's kind of in the ballpark. Oh, gotcha, man. Yeah, okay, no, these mean nothing to me. I cannot gauge. Okay, like reform gives minus 5%. Maybe 5% is what we're talking about. Republican reforms gives minus 10%. That's quite a bit. I don't think, yeah, people shouldn't be as, laid back. Let's say, core pop. It's gotta be core pop militancy modifier because, the core pops are the only one voting early on, so it wouldn't make sense for non-core pops to get this. Minus 10? No. Let's go with minus 5. Putting a space here. You know what? Just make a whole new fucking line. Okay, There we go. Get rid of the parentheticals, because I'm just going to copy and paste this later when I make the actual event. Okay, so we got core ruling party support. Yeah, militancy reduction. Again, I think prestige is... No. That's... Like, it's... The state becomes more prestigious because a president is from there, but the nation does not become more prestigious because they happen to have a presidential election. And if that were the case, then all democracies should get that kind of prestige. Maybe specific candidates get... Nah, I don't like it. No, thanks. No, I guess that's fine. No, that's fine. That's fine. Honestly, this is probably good enough. The party loyalty, 5%. Maybe. Let's hop back here. So 1836. This is just a clusterfuck. The Whigs ran on a strategy of just running as many candidates as possible in the vain hope of getting the Democrats to not win. And it it got close to working, but Van Buren still got 50% of the almost 51% of the vote. Okay, so I need to make note of where they're from. New York, Ohio. Are the only 10 I see. Yeah, okay, I guess that's what we're doing here. Yeah, I don't really see any way to spice this up. And a reminder, this is me just doing research and like thinking about what the event's gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna have time today to actually code in the event. I might. You know what? I don't have. We're just doing this. We're just abbreviating these. OH. I don't want to type in New York, the amount that I know I'm going to have to type in New York. Henry Clay, where you from? KY, baby. James Birney. It's interesting. He doesn't show up here, but James Birney. We go down to the results. Had 2% of the vote. From Michigan. Weird. Okie dokie. Next up is 48. We got Lewis Cass from Michigan. Zachary Taylor is from, Louisiana's LA, right? Yeah. Then Van Buren from New York. Franklin Pierce, I don't remember where you're from. New Hampshire. No offense to those in New Hampshire. Me laughing at your state, but like, come on. New Jersey. Imagine having a president from New Jersey and New Hampshire as your choices. I mean, we just had like Maryland, right? So maybe I shouldn't make fun, but East Coast states are a joke. John Parker Hale was from also New Hampshire. Okay. All right. Well, fair enough. James Buchanan. I should be taking a look at the results. In keeping an eye out for candidates who got at least 1% and seeing if I want to add them in. Right now it's 2% is the threshold for becoming a candidate for this event, but maybe 1%, maybe, so players who really want to do some wacky ahistoric stuff have more means by which to do so. Yeah, you're from PA, you're from CA. Wow, yeah, Fremont. Yeah, John C. Fremont. Jan Charles Fremont. Fortunately, he lost to James Buchanan. Useless piece of shit. I mean, look at this asshole. Yeah, that looks like a guy who wouldn't take a firm stance or accomplish anything when it came to the ongoing slavery debate. John C. Breckinridge from Kentucky. Lincoln from Illinois. John Bell from 10IC. Stephen Douglas, also from Illinois. The idea was to run Douglas in Illinois to try and steal votes from Lincoln, and, well, as you can see, didn't quite work. But it was an interesting idea. It was a very interesting idea. Only state Douglas took away from Lincoln was Missouri. Not a whole lot. You might get 1% of the vote here. No. 1864 results. There were only 2 of you. Yeah. Got George B. McClellan from New Jersey, and then McClellan, garbage man. We should end the war. Yeah, George, you were trying to end the war by how poorly you performed in it. Horatio Seymour, what a name. And what a beard. Look at what just absolute unit. I'm gonna have to go through later and save images for the events when I'm doing them, but not now. Grant, also Illinois. No, this is wrong. I don't want ruling party support. Yeah, okay, good catch, Alex. Good catch. I don't want ruling party support because ruling party support will change every time there's an election. If the upper house is not the same party as the president, then we got a problem. Liberal support. Find all in current document. Local ruling party, shit. Liberal? Motherfucker. Okay. I don't know that there's a modifier for this. Well. Fuck. I could just do this. Well, no, that's not the one I want. Liberal, find in current document, and just do this. So, limit to the state. Okay, so what's frustrating about this is if I could just use ruling party, that'd be great. I'd only have to do one event. But now, if I have to do specifically what it is, I have to make a conservative. I have to make one for every fucking ideology. I think that's what I have to do. Okay. Okay. Well, that sucks, but at least I caught it. Ideology with value equals liberal / conservative. Okay, get cruise control for cool out here. Conservative / etc. Factor. I had 0.2, right? Yeah? Problem is, I don't know. know if it works on modifiers. I know it works in events. I know it works in these, but these only fire once. Like, this just happens once, and then it's over. This makes it so that, every month or whatever this applies. But also, this is a country modifier, and God, I wish this were more clear which of these only applied to states and which of these applied to countries. Because it would make the comparison a little bit easier. Okay. So this is not part of the effect. Yeah. So there is effect equals 5%. State only 2%. In addition, let's just do an additional 5%. Let's go fucking wild. So the state gets 5 and 5, so 10% more in favor of that ideology. The nation as a whole just becomes 5% more in favor of that ideology. And then events, I keep hitting caps lock, events, modifier. I mean, it's a little confusing, right? But you can sort out if you think through it. Like, okay, this is naval organization. That wouldn't make much sense for a state. So this is probably countrywide. But I can't fault them in a game this old trying to just get work done for not commenting better or at all. I mean, they did a little bit, but yeah, trying to reverse engineer some of this is is fun sometimes. So God, okay, this modifier that lasts 4 years, I guess all it's gonna do is lower militancy. It's not very sexy. That's not very sexy. It works. It works. Not everything needs to be flashy. Oh, part of the beauty of Victoria 2 is it's not big events that tend to form the momentum of your game or your campaign. It's all these small little incidents. Yeah, God, I can only imagine if Victoria 3 were is interestingly organized as Victoria 2. Like, Wiz worked enough on Victoria 2 to lose some sanity while working on it. I can't imagine he'd replicate the madness. Okay, let's look here at results. Why don't you give me a table? Okay, you do give me a table. Nope, nobody made 1%. Moving on. Results. Peter Cooper is so close to getting 1% of the popular vote. And this is why I made it 2% of the popular vote, so individuals like this I didn't have to hem and haw over. Like, the Greenback Party isn't a party I modded into the game because they never really got any success, or there's so much overlap between them and the Democrats that you know, whatever. It's 0.99%. You're killing me. Absolutely killing me. Nah, fuck it. That's fine. We'll leave it. Tilden from New York. Hayes from Ohio. Let's look at the results. Results here. Nope. Nobody near 1%. Hancock, you are from PA. Garfield is from Ohio. James is from... Is that right? Yes. It's not often I write down Iowa. Not often I think of Iowa. Results. Cleveland is from New York. So many. That's Maine. That's Michigan. That's Minnesota. Is that right? Yes, okay. So many presidents are from New York. Or at least presidential candidates. New York, it still is, for a long time, was like the political heart of the United States. Pennsylvania, you know, pulling its weight too. Ohio as well. They're very important states today, but good God. For a long time, it's like, oh, we got a candidate from New York, and New York, and New York, and New York, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Grover, Cleveland, wait. We got 2 that made 1%. Alright, and this is why I wanted to stop and think about this. Because currently in, what is this, 1884, you can choose between Democrats and Republicans. The Prohibition Party I'm basically treating as a reactionary party. Because the whole Prohibition movement was a reactionary movement meant to strip away rights, really, strip away liberties. They thought for the betterment of society, but still, it's reactionary. Yeah, fuck it. Let's make 1% the new John Pierce Saint John. What a name. Prohibition, just for whatever players might be. Oh hell yeah! I Kansas is KA, right? Yes. For whatever reason, somebody wants the Southern Democrats to be in power. Lord knows why. They're terrible. This is a way to do it. This is a way to do it. Greenback. Is it greenbacks or greenback? Greenback, singular. Benjamin Franklin Butler. Where are you from? Massachusetts. You're a masshole. 88. This is not thrilling stuff, but I figured if I'm working on it, I might as well stream it, because I've been working on stuff off stream, and people are like, Alex, did you die? I'm like, no, I'm not dead. I'm just not doing anything interesting. So here you go. Here's the thrilling content you wanted. New York. Fisk is from New Jersey. Oh. Well, maybe I'm okay with this. This is socialist. It's not socialist. It is socialist, but it's not called socialist yet. Union Labor Party. Olson Janice Streeter. I was unfamiliar with you. From Illinois. Love it. So 1888 is the first time can actually get a socialist president. So okay. Not until 88 that you can start, through this event, boosting socialist party loyalty, which is important. It's fucking important, because as you can see by the percentages, they weren't even ranking in 1% yet. Now they start making a real showing for themselves up through 1912, in 1916 actually. No, sorry, 1924. Robert Marion La Follette Sr., I think? Benson? Who am I thinking of? Yeah. This dude pulls in well over 12% of the popular vote. He pulls in a shit ton of votes. And I had never heard of him. Absolutely never heard of him until today, which I am a raging socialist, and I had never heard of this guy. Debs, of course, I know about, but Lafollette? No, totally off my radar. And he's like farmer labor kind of focus, so all of the states he won are out west. It's super interesting guy. Yeah, Prohibition in Victoria 2 is handled weird. A lot of things in Victoria 2 is handled weird. Like, the more you dig into it, the more things are just like, that was an odd choice. That's an odd choice, but it's okay. You know, it's not a perfect game, but it's a good game. But where is my brain? Here we are. Yeah, okay, so none of these are new. Okay, well, you know, for one glorious moment here, the Union Labor Party has a chance, and then 1892 pulling in about 18%. Not great. That's because they got pulled in by the Populist Party instead. It's so interesting looking in United States history, the trajectory and movement of leftist organization. People belonging to or being affiliated with leftist organizations, seeing building power, then they get like a decent share of the vote, and then one of the parties is like, yo, hey, come join our party, and then you see the vote in the next cycle just dwindle down to nothing. This is what you see in the 20s turning into the 30s with FDR particularly. FDR stole so much momentum from socialist movement at the time because he had Dem-Soc candidates, let's say, in his... not in his cabinet. He had like one in his cabinet. And like kept making promises of like a new deal. Yeah. That's just it's aggravating to see every 20 or 30 years socialists growing to a decent level of influence and then having that influence just be appropriated. Just you'd think we'd learn. Alas, we don't. We don't. Just people generally don't learn. Because it takes time and energy to study history. And a lot of people don't have that time, don't have that energy. They're just trying to, do their 9 to 5, stay alive. And frankly, the way that history is taught and has been taught in this country is mildly biased, to put it lightly. Wow, Nebraska? Wow. I don't know if we've ever had another candidate from Nebraska for president. Well, we'll find out, but Haitian heads of states were pretty linear because Haitian presidents just appointed a person to be elected before the 1990s. Yeah, that's the case in a lot of countries. See, this is another frustrating thing. 0.97, 0.94. I mean, those both round up to 1%. Should I have them included? Should I not have them included? Because right now in 1896, you only have Democrat and Republican. What the fuck was the National Democrat Party? Short-lived political party of Bourbon Democrats who oppose the regular party nominee. And of course, the point of contention here is another thing that Victoria II doesn't model. We like to think about, here in the United States, like presidential elections in the really in American history being about like ideology, about what people believe, about like these grand notions of liberty, of freedom, of justice, of, you know, pursuing a more perfect union. No, broadly that has not been the case. Throughout the 1900s, the 1800s here, the 19th century, no, all these motherfuckers argued about were tariffs, or the gold standard, or having a national bank. That is like time and time again, decade after decade, what these old white dudes are arguing about. It's so repetitive. And what's funny is the only way to model that in Victoria II is like, do you have free trade or protectionism? Do you have laissez-faire or do you have interventionism? Those are the 2 points of contention that the United States political parties have argued about for 200 fucking goddamn years. Not so much in the recent political history of the United States. The current political system we're in puts social policies to the forefront in a really superficial way that makes it seem like this is what they're running on, but then you look at the rest of their policies and they're all pretty much in line with one another. So it's just performative, and I'm getting way off topic here. We're not doing those. Yeah, no, 1%. It's a loose rule, but we have to have rules, otherwise I'm gonna try and fit everyone in here. Debs, my boy, his first time running for president did not go well. 1900, Eugene Debs pulled in 0.63% of the vote. Not very good. But that did not stop him. Oh no. Oh, here, William McKinley, also from Nebraska. Brian. Also from Nebraska? Did you run prior? Wait. I just wrote Nebraska. It wasn't that long ago. Oh, there's Lincoln. Nebraska. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here, and I got it backwards. Stop. I don't want to edit the header. You're from Nebraska, you're from Ohio. Crazy that the guy from Ohio would get more votes than the guy from Nebraska. But here we can also add in prohibition. John Granville from Illinois. No Debs yet. 1904. Debs definitely gets enough of the vote. I think he's, about 3% of the vote. Alton Brown, where are you from? Guy from New York running against a guy from New York. Really? Okay, hey, prohibition. Yeah, I think lowering this to 1% from 2% being the cutoff is a good idea, because Silas Comfort Swallow. Comfort Swallow. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Look at this dude. Yes, President Swallow here. Wow. Wow, yeah, that looks like a man who's had to suffer a lifetime of swallow jokes. Whew, and he's on the Prohibition Party. That's just incredible. He was a Methodist preacher. Lifelong opponent of slavery. I mean, that's good. I am a child. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh, President Swallow. Man. There's a lot of jokes there. Yeah, modern literacy rates are something that people often take for granted. Like, even trying to find statistics on literacy rates prior to, like, the United States prior to, like, the 20th century is very hard. And even then, literacy rates today are kind of misleading. Like, in the United States today, literacy tests are very low bar to pass, aren't really done very often or very effectively. Like, I dated someone a short while ago whose father was functionally illiterate. Dude played, you know, video games, watched movies, had a job, existed in society, but he just was functionally illiterate. They exist, but according to modern statistics, they don't really exist. But they're a bit more common. I don't know. Literacy is such a weird thing. The threshold of being like literate and illiterate. Reading at a blank grade level, reading at a whatever grade level. It's very. Not my area of expertise, right? I'm a historian by learning and like an academic. So, education, literacy, not my wheelhouse. So maybe there's some good methodology there I'm not aware of. Okay, who we got here? Brian, still from Nebraska. This dude did not quit. As I was doing this, it became quickly apparent to me just how many influential political people there have been in United States history who I do not know a thing about. Debs was from Indiana, and then Prohibition Party. Yep, you, Prohibition, Eugene, Wilder, Chaffin. It's a fine name. It's no swallow. That's fine. 1912. I think once we get done assigning states to everyone, I might be done with the research portion for today. Like I said, not a lot exciting going on here today. I maybe do a little bit more digging through the what is the word? What is the word? The event modifiers. See if there's something else I could add in here to, you know, nudge things a little bit, but I'm thinking there's probably not. Debs is still from Indiana. Wait. Chaffin was just from Illinois. Now he's from Arizona? Bruh? How is it? I thought home state was like where... Is that not where you were born? Is it just where you're living at the time? Just where you're a resident? Huh. Yeah, no, I guess home state just refers to where you are living when you are running for president. What the fuck? yeah, this is one of the frustrating things. All of these great books with pretty good statistics from the 19th century are so hard to track down, so hard to find. There's been an incredible amount of work, you know, archiving works online, uploading them, but even just finding things in virtual archives or in real physical archives sucks. It's horrible. It's so agonizing. Like, it's really satisfying once you find what you're looking for, but it blows. Like, when I was going through... Oh god, and I'm probably gonna have to do this again because my notes are incomplete. Calculating the population of the United States in each individual fucking county of the United States when I was doing the pop rebalance for this mod. That sucked. That was awful, because finding census data from 1830... There's no 1836 census data. There's 1830, 1840, but a lot of the census data from 1830 is destroyed or lost, and a lot of it from 1840 is destroyed or lost because fires happened and people just didn't think these would be that important. So then I'd have to go look at the 1820s and 1850s, and then plotting all of these together, do some math being like, okay, so like it seems like the population was growing at a rate of this pretty consistently through this time period, so we'll just take these and average them together and account for this, and then like, this is my best guess for how many people are there. It was awful, and the thought of doing that again for Victoria 3 makes me want to die, but I'll do it again. I'll do it again. It was education. It was informative work, but oh my god. it was There are a lot of fucking states in the United States. 50 doesn't seem that bad until you start breaking them down into smaller parts, and then you're looking at hundreds. And like the way that states are divided in Victoria 2 is completely arbitrary and doesn't line up to like historical counties or modern counties. Translating that, yep, good stuff. And then finding where historical counties were. Historical county maps don't exist. They just don't fucking exist because they got replaced. And even in even in archives, they're hard to find. Oh, yeah. No, the amount of boring, insanely boring, thankless work that I did that really wasn't that impactful. It is impactful on gameplay, but very hard to notice from a player perspective unless you dig into it. I did so much work for I'm looking at 1908 here. Whoops. It's quite funny. Quite funny. Wait a minute. 1912. Yeah. I got weirded out by Chaffin, but then I didn't add him. Chaffin, add him. He's from Arizona this time. Yeah, Victoria 3 will have 10 times the provinces. That's not a bad thing, though. That's really not a bad thing. I mean... I'm trying to be optimistic and be like, it's not a bad thing. That makes it easier to say, fewer counties per province. That makes it easier to assign population. That's not so bad. But then having to do that for twice as many, or 10 times as many provinces, it's probably the same amount of work, give or take. Yeah, no, let's not think about it. Let's not think about it. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hopefully, the pops are more or less the same. It sounds like one pop is still one family unit. So it should be roughly one pop is equal to 4 people using the nuclear family model. So all the numbers I have for Victoria 2 should be good for Victoria 3, except for the whole provinces not lining up thing. But for like state numbers and national numbers, I won't have to redo those. Yeah, no, I'm not selling myself. I'm trying so hard to be like, it'll be fine. I'm like, well, if I just did it again. Well, Woodrow Wilson is still from New Jersey, so I don't have to worry about that. And the only map that accurately portrays the Dominican Republic from 1844 to 1847 is Chinese. That's amazing. I mean, that sucks, but that's kind of fascinating and amazing. Like, it sucks in having to translate it and not having, you know, more sources of, more data points, but that's still pretty cool. Prohibition. You'd think I'd be able to spell the word by now. Prohibition. James Franklin Hanley. Nope, Alex Hanley. There we go, Hanley. From Indiana. Yeah, I wish I had kept better notes. But my attitude when I was making the Victoria 2 mod was, I won't need these notes. I'm never gonna make Victoria 3 at this point. Like, this is a dead game and I'm doing this for myself. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. This is why you document your research, you document your code, because you never fucking know. These assholes might be secretly working on a sequel to a game that they've been joking about will never be made for a goddamn decade. Just don't believe them. Just don't believe them. Here we have another 99% boy. Oh, and it's a Farmer Labor Party. Huh. That's cool. Oh, okay. So I see what happens here in 24. In 24, the Socialist Labor, Farmer Labor, and Socialist Party all throw in together. And they go from having 4.5% of the vote to 14% of the vote. Solidarity, dude. Solidarity will do crazy things. And look at this. Look at that. 16. No, I was underselling it. They go from maybe 4.5% of the vote spread across, 5 candidates to almost 17% of the vote by banding together. It's crazy. And then, of course, fucking Socialist Labor and Communist Party, the goddamn communists, William Edward Foster, being like, no, we can't support the socialists. No, we have to go with that we have to be special little Nancy's about it and just be like, yeah, your leftist candidate, not good enough. We're gonna run someone who doesn't have a shot in hell of winning. Fucking hell. Leftist infighting. Never change. Never change. I think this might be our first dude from West Virginia. John William Davis. I think it might be. There's Wisconsin. Nobody else got 1%. No. Get out of here. 1928. Nope. And then the coalition fell apart with Robert Marion La Follette dying. He died like the next year. He was an old dude, had a heart attack. Then the coalition fell apart and people were pretty demoralized, and it's the roaring 20s, baby. Everything's great. Who needs socialism? Capitalism will continue growing on forever. Nothing to worry about. The golden era will keep on going. This Herbert Hoover guy, he seems like he's got some good ideas. Let's put him in office. And then, oh Lord, that was a mistake. This Roosevelt guy, maybe he can get us out of here. And you see the socialists are back up to 2%. Yeah, it's crushing to see it get so high and then just snap and gone. It's just fucking gone. And it's not as simple as people getting demoralized for their party not winning. It's the other political parties recognizing how popular and how dangerous this unified front was, and intentionally breaking it up by reaching out to local politicians and local leaders, buying people out with favors or outright bribes, sending in either actual like state or national police like the FBI, or people like Pinkertons to break up these organizations, these unions on local levels to kind of disrupt this. So, you know, seems like something kind of weird happened between 1924 and 1928 that a party that pulled in damn near 20% just disappears, just outright disappears. Makes you wonder, huh? Makes you think. Hopefully, makes you think, because it's pretty fucking noteworthy. Now we're at 32. Yep. Herbert Hoover, California, Hoover. Then Thomas was from New York. Nobody else even pulled 1%. Yep. The Red Scare from the Soviet Union actually being a thing is a huge contributing part, with the failure of the United States and other powers to back the White Russians. There was a lot of fear of a similar thing happening in the United States. So when you see a progressive socialist farmer labor union party get almost 20% of the vote, the powers that be panic and start crunching down hard on that. I mean, during the First World War, Eugene Debs was arrested for protesting the draft, and that happened to a lot of socialists in this time period. That's why you have Debs, no Debs, Debs, because Debs was in prison. And his sentencing for opposing the draft is his famous, "While there's a lower class, I am in it. While there's a criminal element, I am of it. While there's a soul in prison, I am not free" speech. So good. So good. Yeah, people, Americans, gringos, let's say, talking about, socialism will never work here. It's never worked here. It has worked here. It's worked here so well that our beloved capitalist overlords have beaten the movement into a bloody pulp time and time again. Like, the first use of an aircraft by the United States in an act of warfare or violence was in trying to break the strike at Blair Mountain. Like anti-labor movement and anti-labor actions and anti-populist actions through violence mostly are a time-old tradition in the United States. Just great. And then we have a history of successful organizing, like all of the labor laws that are in place today, socialists pretty much got done. The history's just not taught in schools, not talked about in media or movies or television, and so the history's slowly forgotten. And so the sentiment that, well, it's never worked and you shouldn't even try, becomes the popular sentiment because you can't remember your victories or defeats. You can just think that they never happened. Oh. Yeah. But the flip side is it's been very exciting. As I've been reading more and more about socialist history, like, hot damn, during the Depression in the United States, socialist farmers were doing some pretty badass organizing. I learned about this from my grandparents when I was a kid. Like, the bank would come and take somebody's farm away. Then the community would show up to the farm auction with guns. And I think these are called penny auctions, right? Yep, still have caps lock on. Penny auctions, great things. The community would show up with guns, and basically were low-key threatening anyone that would pay more, that would pay anything for the auction. So the family would come back and say, you know, I'll pay 1 penny for the property. Have any other bids? And then it's a crowd full of angry people looking at people from out of town or the bank or whatever, fully armed, and nobody else would bet on it. So people would get their property back legally from the bank for a penny or 5 cents or whatever, and then legally own the land. Super, super cool. Collective action like this is amazing and has had a transformative effect on communities throughout the United States. But we're not taught about this in school. we're not taught about this at all, very intentionally, because these early, even modern presidents and politicians talk about, like, true democracy isn't something you want. We don't want to rule by the mob. Who's that asshole who was in charge during the Second World War in the United Kingdom? Not Chamberlain. Oh my god. Smoked a lot, drank a lot. Alex, come on, buddy. Come on. Great orator. His writing was pretty bad. Okay. This UK Churchill, thank you. Yeah. it's embarrassing. Churchill was, like, vehemently anti-democratic. He talked about, like, mob rule all the time. It's very weird in republics or constitutional monarchies like these, us having this attitude that, like, oh yeah, these people want us represented. No, they fucking don't. No, they don't. They don't want us to organize. They don't want collective action. What they want is us to conform to a standardized set of consumption and production that's non-disruptive, that's not in any way going to impact the bottom line of the benefactors of the people in power or the people in power. And I mean, once you start seeing it, it's hard to ignore, but it's very laughable doing the history of democracy in the United States in this game and just being like, it's all just a bunch of rich white old dudes forever and ever who are all afraid of the people. It's fascinating. See where the Black Panthers got some of their tactics. Yeah, well, the Black Panthers are fascinating too. They were dangerous because they were organizing locally. They were feeding kids. They were teaching people. They were helping out their community. And they were fostering a sense of identity that threatened this sense of identity as a producer and consumer within capitalism. It started providing people with a support network where they could take actions to oppose things that were bad for them, whether it be racist laws, whether it be labor laws that were unfair, bosses that weren't treating them right, whatever else. If you have a community that supports you, you're able to resist these things a lot more effectively. Like, you're not dying by not working, right? That was part of what made the Black Panthers so dangerous in the eyes of the federal government at that point. And modern organizations, Antifa, that do the same thing, right? Socialist organizations that do the same thing today in the United States. And anarchists do a lot of mutual aid and education as well. Then, yeah, there was the whole they had guns thing. but it sure didn't the United States sure doesn't seem to have a problem with guns when we have like a 3-to-1 gun to person ratio in this country, but when there's a group of organized socialist leftist black rights folks out there, panic. That's when we care. Okay, yep. Glad it's if you look at the history of the Black Panthers movement, it's apparent, it's just crystal clear what the United States actually cared about and cares about when it comes to enforcement. Dude, that's rad. That's rad. I love about the Black Panthers. You could have just joined, right? There was required reading, and not just required reading, but required comprehension of the reading. There's a lot of discourse nowadays with leftist organizations that no, we can't gatekeep, and you don't want to do purity tests. Like, that's just gonna exclude people. You look at the Black Panthers and they're like, we are gatekeeping and we are purity testing, and we need to make sure you know your shit before you can be a part of our organization. There's something really admirable about that, like a certain level of not just quality control, but this notion that having a shared critical lens, having a shared foundation in political education and social education lets you communicate and work together much more effectively. But people don't want to read Das Kapital. People don't want to read, and wait, God help me, I don't like reading Capital. People don't want to read the Communist Manifesto or Mao's Little Red Book or whatever. People are busy. People don't like reading. So it's a tough ask. Okay. This is so easy to sidetrack me. Like, hey Alex, you want to talk about socialism in the United States? I'm like, oh boy, do I! What was I doing? But I've only been up for an hour and a half recording. That's not bad. Okay, so presidential election happens. You get a little blurb about who the candidates are, which are gonna suck. Maybe not about the candidates. Maybe just a description of the election, the historical results. No, not candidate positions. No. When it's a one-on-one, pretty interesting. Pretty easy to do that. When there are 4, or I think some of these get to like 6, 5. Yeah, when there are 5 people, I cannot go describe 5. So we get a little blurb, teach you a little bit. By that I mean most players will just click through it to get the modifier they want, but it's there, and it'll teach me, and that's a big part of this. So the nation becomes a little more pushed in that ideological direction. Yes, this is weird and not really the way it works, but like I was talking about with the way that the American Civil War works, is I want to push it so that I can undo this. Vanilla again has 40% be the line when the Civil War kicks off. HPM made it 35%. I've lowered it to 30% because I wasn't even hitting 35% liberal ideology. I was hitting 33, 34 if I was like having a good year, but so many people would just hop over to socialist instead. Which I can't blame them. I did too. But hopefully that 5% compounded over a few elections will let us hit a higher target. Okay, I need to leave a note for myself. Note to self. Very important. Playtest after adding this event, going liberal each time, and see when civil war happens. If before 1860, change house divided back to 3.5 or 0.4 from 0.3. Very important. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm going to ignore this. I'm gonna have this happen. I'm gonna do a playtest. I'm like, why the fuck is a civil war happening in the 1840s? Because my ass is gonna forget to rebalance this. Oh yeah, the pops in Victoria 2 can be very conservative, especially with the compounding party loyalty system. If you get conservative election and then conservative election and the conservative election, it's so hard to break that. It's so hard to break that. But let's I don't think I have a save from like the 1840s or 50s. Let's take a look. I have the opposite problem. I have too many fucking socialists, which I love, but it's ahistoric. Get out of here. It's ahistoric and it fucks with events. Yeah. I can't remember what the last test game I did was. I can't. No, it's been long enough. I've taken a few weeks, couple weeks. Time is weird right now. I think I've taken a couple weeks off of working on this, and today when I was not in the shower, when I was running, I had the idea for, oh, this is what I should do with the presidential elections. That's why I wanted to at least drop the framework for the events today so I can either code it later today, which I might do, or tomorrow or something. Have you tried editing pop types for ideologies? I haven't touched that. I know HPM nudged that a little bit, but I haven't played around with that. One of the biggest things I've done for the United States that changes party loyalty pretty significantly is I've done a complete party rework. That all of the values for all the parties I've changed, and the parties swap out, and I'll pull it up to show what I'm talking about here in a second once it's done loading. And that made a massive difference in what pops actually, what party they prefer to vote for. Because first and foremost, pops in Victoria 2 are issue voters. I had one over here, don't I? Yeah, parties. Oh, those are my YouTube tags. Parties. That's weird. That's not right at all. So this is having a knock-on effect. Because for the United States, socialists, when it unlocks in 1864, is the only one with the full citizenship. Or no, not the only one. They're the only anti-war. No, they're pretty identical to... I don't know. Something about my runs makes people go socialist. I get some pretty early socialism events. I made socialism unlock a little bit earlier than it did before. Then I changed that back. Don't know. It's not... It's a quirk. It's not a problem. Oh yeah, the last run I did, last playtest I did went till 1900. Yeah, I was going through and testing the state annexation events to make sure those were working. Because Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico were independent states, but applied for statehood, which you can do if... Oh god. you are at least friendly, or they're in your sphere. Your relationship, their opinion of you is above 180, and I think they need to have the same slavery laws as you. I think those are the 3 conditions. And that they're not a part of somebody else's sphere. It's been a minute since I reworked those events. I was just testing to make sure they worked. I don't know why Rio Grande hasn't applied for statehood. That was driving me insane. Different countries or states have a different date when they can apply. And then Canada was driving me fucking insane because they're still a satellite of the United Kingdom. And there's a random event where if you have somebody in your sphere, you can yeet them from somebody else's satellite, but it's completely randomized when you can attempt it. And that shit was driving me crazy. But here, United States 1900, so this is pretty late. But as we just saw, socialists were pulling like, you know, at most 20% of the popular vote. And I've had the socialists in party in power for a while in the upper house, but even here, now it's only 31.2%. Conservatives still have 25%, liberals still have 27%, and conservative reactionary poll about 34%, 34.7%. Socialists, communists, which will go together, only have 34.8%. So the socialists are only winning the upper house by like 0.1% right now, and dropping. I don't know why socialism's popularity has been dropping, but it is. So you can get in power, but it's not as busted and one-sided as it used to be. Oh right, this is one I was getting real fucking sick of because I had militant social 100,000 militant socialists in Cuba. Yeah, this was a weird test run. Yeah, this is from a couple of iterations ago. I'm only number 3? What the fuck? Right. No warships. Small military. Yeah, that'll do it. Haiti. Let's see. Haiti. Statehood. United States. It's... I don't think Haiti ever applied. No, that's not what I'm looking for. That's very specifically not what I'm looking for. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. So the annexation of the Dominican Republic was suggested and attempted back in 1869. And, man, I feel like... Let's check my notes. It's in here somewhere. Maybe not in this Google Docs file. No, not event planning. Get out of here. Events. Event planning is year by year. Nope. Fuck, it is my other file. Okay, we'll get out of here. We go into... Is it this one? Or Google Drive just won't load. That's cool. It's cool. Alright. Yeah, peacefully is the key word here. No. Definitely not. In the same way that, you know, my mod, I closed the fucking game. Very smart person, Alex. Very smart person. Well, I was done demonstrating the thing I wanted to demonstrate. And it'll boot up faster the second time. I have basically annexation decisions for all of the First Nations that start out in the United States. And there are a ton of them. Historically, those were not peaceful acquisitions, right? Describing the American acquisition of First Nations lands as anything less than like genocidal warfare is misleading. But it's not enough of a full-blown war to have the United States declare war on all of these individual tribes and nations, because they didn't. Oftentimes they were undeclared wars where they just went in and did inhumane things, and not it varied by people. So the events and decisions here just annex wholesale without a war, and that's kind of what's going on with Haiti. I mean, let's see if I can see the event as Haiti, because the US can't demand it. Haiti has to offer it. Yeah, apply for statehood. I don't even think I added Haiti to this. I think this is an HPM thing. I added the year. Yeah, so 1870. Alright, so for some reason I have it 1870. I think it might be because of this. Was it in 1869? Oh yeah, here's a blog post from 2010. The Yucatan Peninsula sorta wanted to join in the 1840s. Yucatan only applied for statehood as a protection from Mexico, and then the United States said no. Yeah, good stuff. Now Limbaugh. Oh yeah, I don't want to be on this blog. Yeah, no, Dominican Republic. Maybe I didn't do this. I don't know. I do get confused with some of these states if it was a me thing or an HPM thing. I can't remember. Yeah, but we can just look at the... No, we can't. We can't look at the event because I just talked about it being like 5 or 6 different events dependent on the year. Yeah. Yeah, God, it's such an awkward fine line of like... Perfect example. There's a decision in Vanilla Victoria to annex the Kingdom of Hawaii. Hawaii did not apply for statehood. Ever. Hawaii was an independent kingdom that had a coup backed by the United States government that overthrew its rightful legitimate authority and replaced it with a bunch of white business owners who then applied for statehood to the United States. So the US annexed Hawaii through a military coup. If that in-game can be as simple as clicking a button and no actual declaration of war, similar events in the Caribbean, I think are fine, right? It doesn't really get the full picture, but the mechanics are definitely fighting me a little bit there. Yeah, I think this is it. This is kind of simple for what I wanted, but I think we'll roll with it. Hasn't quite been 2 hours, but I don't actually want to type in the events right now. The event itself is not hard to code. It's little more than what I have written here. The thing I don't want to do right now is look up the region codes for each and individual state over and over and over and over and over all the way through 1936 for every candidate. I don't want to do that. It's just too repetitive for me right now. I'll do it later today or tomorrow or something, but the planning part's done. That's what I wanted to do today, and it's still gorgeous out, so I'd like to get back outside. So I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for hanging out. Makes this a lot more tolerable and less mind-melting when I'm not just coding into the void, though next time will be that. Where was I going with this? I'm going to try and make an effort to stream at least a couple of hours every day, but we'll see if that sticks, because Lord knows it hasn't so far. If you are watching this on YouTube, I don't know what you should be keeping an eye out for. I intend to start some new campaign or something, but nothing's really catching my fancy. So it might just be like more vibing and playing Minecraft, which I know was wildly unpopular, but I'm self-indulgent and I do this shit for me. So until then, I'm gonna say toodaloo, take care. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.